the economy, and so it is.
I wake up every morning to CNBC roaring in the living room, and my husband Nima, who's watching online, hi Nima, he turns it on, and every morning we have this discussion that these people are so angry at each other. I don't think they've ever agreed on anything. The only thing that they have agreed on is that we have an economic problem. So you have, the tri-screen, you have the person on the left who's yelling about, okay, we need to have regulation, and then the person on the right, no, we need to deregulate. Then the person on the right starts screaming about, no, we need to stimulate the economy, and then the person on the left says, we've been overstimulated. So the person on the right says, we need tighter lending standard, and then the person on the left says, are you freaking serious? Really, we need lending standards? We've been overly constricted. Look, we see the scale tilting back and forth. But what no one offers is a spiritual solution to this economic problem. So the Baha'i teachings envision that economic justice and prosperity can only come about when we recognize that economy and spirituality are related. And once we realize that they're related, then we can come to solutions that we can actually implement. So the Baha'i writings state, the fundamentals of the whole economic condition are divine in nature and are associated with the world of the heart and spirit. So the disease afflicting humanity is not economic, but rather the lack of love and the absence of altruism. And we sort of see this every day. In society, there's this obsession with getting stuff, and the person who dies with the most stuff apparently wins. And this obsession has made humanity blind to the significance of spiritual life. And although it is true, you need money to have food and shelter and clothing, and these are things that are essential, this is the burden that we have to carry as we live our lives. But we shouldn't allow those material things to monopolize our entire thinking and to monopolize all of our thoughts and aspirations, that we forget about our spiritual life. So one step in the solution is that material resources should be used for the long-term good of everybody rather than the short-term advantage of a few. But this is not what we see happening these days. We see a small number of people who have these ginormous fortunes and a great number of people who remain impoverished. So the Baha'i writings say that this is contrary to justice. It's actually injustice for this to continue. It's the height of inequity, and it's opposite to what actually causes divine satisfaction. So the solution is cooperation in creating this organized economic activity. The teachings of Baha'u'llah, who is the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith, advocate voluntary sharing. And this is different than the equalization of wealth. The difference is that equalization is imposed from outside. It's like communism, right? While sharing is a matter of free choice. But that's not to say that all individuals should get the same income. There's natural differences in the capacity of each human being. There's differences in the amount of education that you have to get depending on the profession that you are going to practice. But we need all these different types of service, and these different types of service should get different rewards depending on the amount that you have to put in. But these degrees of income that we get should also have absolute limits. So there must be a minimum income level that every person has the ability to be assured to get if they put in the effort, and that's going to meet their basic needs. But in the case that they are incapacitated, they're ill, they fall upon misfortune, so when they're unable to meet their essential needs, we should have community institutions that will be created to help. And for Baha'is, we have an institution called Huququllah, try to say that 10 times fast, and Huququllah means the right of God. So each year, lifetime, Baha'is are to give 19% of their net income to a fund that runs the affairs of not only the Baha'i community, but also gives to institutions that support the less fortunate. But the Baha'i writings are not very negative on this entire aspect of where the world is going. The Baha'i writings state that in the future, our obsession with getting more stuff and building this immense private fortune is going to cease. And the reason it's going to cease is because humanity is going to increasingly become conscious of our spiritual vision and our higher existence. So, as humans, by becoming and recognizing our spiritual capacity, we're not going to be willing to spend all of our time and energy getting more and more material wealth and fame. But rather, once we're able to provide for our own needs, we can use our energy to benefit society. And our obsessive desire to centralize the power in one person is going to give over to our need to develop these spiritual qualities and things that we can take with us into the next life. Another topic I was asked to address was the Baha'i view on debt and loans, which I believe Alita mentioned. Regarding debts, Baha'u'llah says that anyone who has the ability to settle his debts should strive to settle them with diligence and application. And he says that by doing this, a person is developing the virtues of trustworthiness and uprightness, which are, again, things that develop your character and that you can take with you into the next life. However, he says that a demand for payment should be contingent upon the ability to pay. So, in summarizing, the Baha'i writings emphasize that everything in life, and that includes money, and the test that we have when we don't have money, is for our own development, spiritually and materially. And we can either use it as a stumbling block or we can use it as a stepping stone. And it's our own decision. And we can either use our economic situation to help ourselves and become attached to the material aspect of money, or we can help the world by letting go of that attachment and build our own spiritual qualities. And I think that's the first time I've ever finished in 6 minutes.